Steve Klimek here with Simplifying with Nico Bezuidenhout, CEO of Mango Airlines in South Africa. Nico gave a great presentation today, and it's obvious, Nico, from your presentation that you're very adamant about branding being a relationship that requires two-way communication. So what kind of things has Mango, since you began operating in 2008, implemented to really engage your customers? What kind of strategy?
Look, Steve, I think we operate in a commoditized industry where everything is about price. And as we know, costs keep on going up, and we have to try and find ways and means to get our revenue streams to go up. Now, that's only going to happen when we properly and in-depth engage with our customer base, or our guests, as we refer to our passengers. There's a need for a one-on-one relationship. The only way we can be responsive to our guests is to understand what their needs and desires are, what irks them, what makes them happy. And that only can be ascertained by establishing a relationship that's based on trust and transparency. And for that you need a conversation. So what we try to do is to focus on social media very heavily in terms of Facebook, Twitter and the like. Some other initiatives that also is viral in nature, in terms of building a bigger database and knowing more about our guests.
So you mentioned social media, and one of the things that I learned this week is that this is a country where only 10% of the population has a reliable internet connection. So how does that work, obviously, with something like social media?
Look, yes, South Africa's internet penetration is very low. The fortuitous side, though, is that the correlation between air travel users and internet users is very high.
Okay.
So from that standpoint, our qualified base of passengers, in terms of the experienced and seasoned travellers, are online. They're ready and waiting. And I think from a reach standpoint, if you advertise or you're active in terms of the online space, you stand to reach something to the extent of 93% of the travelling public in South Africa.
Okay. Another thing I picked up as well is that you guys seem really big on trying to make air travel accessible to more people than it's previously been accessible to in South Africa. So obviously those people are the ones who maybe aren't internet ready. What kind of other strategies do you find yourself having to use other sales channels or other communication strategies to try to reach those people and invite them in?
Yes, the level of air travel propensity to travel by air in South Africa is very low. Now, what we've tried to do is to try and make it more accessible, implying that we need to enable people to buy our tickets. So if they're not capable of buying it via the internet, for example, we need to go to where they shop, where they're comfortable at shopping, and to where they've got access to. So in our case, we use general retail stores in South Africa, the grocery stores, to sell our tickets to the general public. We also use innovative credit schemes in a sense. The level of credit card penetration in South Africa is also around about 10%. So what we've done to overcome that is we've partnered up with the biggest clothing retailer on the African continent to make their credit base available for purchase tickets. So effectively you can buy your tickets on your clothing store account, and you can go buy your tickets at the same place as you buy bread and milk. And the logic for the last step is really that in South Africa, aviation has always been seen as preserved for select few. It's still shrouded in mystery. Now, we all know that globally short-haul travel is being commoditized, which means that it's being turned into bread, milk and eggs. So on that logic, sell it where you sell bread, milk and eggs. It's places where the consumer trusts. They've been shopping there forever. So it builds an inherent trust when you sell it.
Makes sense. And the last thing I wanted to ask you about, I just learned about this today, the Consumer Protection Act that's recently been passed. I was speaking to some folks with SA Express, and they had mentioned that they're really concerned about what kind of can of worms it might open legally with sending offers out through Twitter that it isn't accessible to everybody. Do you see how that may impact anything you can do through social?
In my personal opinion, and unfortunately we are in the area of personal opinion at this point because the legislation is untested.
Right.
My logic is that the intent of the Act is to prevent airlines or providers or suppliers from spamming or engaging in let's say, less than ethical business practices. Now, in the case of, for example, social media, it is, in my opinion, actually the protection for an airline. The CPA basically states that a consumer has got a 5-day cool-off period once they've bought a ticket from you, if that ticket is bought consequent to push marketing. Now, is social media push marketing? your consumers are your ambassadors.
Right.
It's your consumer who's pushing a piece of marketing material onto another consumer.
Right.
And in my opinion, that falls outside the area of the CBO.
Absolutely. It's obviously they're opting into to following you on social media. So
Exactly. And my social media presence is my shopfront.
right.
The consumer came to my shopfront.
Right.
I did not entice the consumer into my shopfront. And the reason why my consumer comes to my shopfront is because that's the place where I engage, where I offer value, where I show a personal face to what is often a foreign brand. Airline brands are often distant.
Right.
So attract the consumer through offering value, engaging, having a personal relationship, and have that consumer then, as a consequence of that, purchase a ticket at that point. Correct.
And you mentioned viral as well, just really quickly. And is there any particular examples you have of something that you did where just some creative idea that somebody in marketing came up with or you yourself came up with, and it actually did get that kind of viral response that you were looking for?
Yeah, I'll show two quick ones for you. We've got the biggest horse race annually in July in Durban, and it's normally a big fashion parade as well. What we've done there is we created a fashion designer dress out of recycled boarding pass paper, or boarding passes, which obviously appeals to those of us who actually care about the environment. And that resulted in about 300, 400 people taking photos of this dress, posting it on their respective pages and tagging it, and giving us exposure to somewhere in the order of 400,000 users in the social media space. 2 years ago we launched the biggest online air race in South Africa, which basically involved consumers adopting a virtual aircraft, getting virtual passengers, getting these passengers to help click, and the more they click, the more the aircraft moved, and the person who got to the end quickest got major prizes. So that went viral because there was a functional value, an entertainment value for the consumer, and it resulted in consumers passing it on and doing a big viral benefit for us.
It's great to see what you guys are doing, really innovative, and we look forward to following you more and see what initiatives you have up next. So thank you very much for your time and great job today.
Thank you.
Thank you.